to Deep Sleep Stories. If these stories have helped you through restless nights, please leave a review. Reviews are what help this podcast grow, reach more listeners, and stay alive. Without them, even something meaningful can slowly disappear. So if this show has brought you comfort, that small act truly helps keep it going. Now, settle in, and let's begin.
Welcome and settle in with Deep Sleep Stories, a quiet place where your mind can soften and your body can rest. Tonight you'll drift along a moonlit river in a canoe, gliding toward a gentle mystery called Dream Island. Let your shoulders loosen as if warm hands have smoothed away the day. Let your jaw unclench. Let your tongue rest easily in your mouth. If your eyes want to close, let them close. If they want to blink slowly, let them blink slowly, like a lantern dimming, like a curtain falling. Notice the space around you, however it is, the hush of your room, the weight of blankets, the way the air meets your skin. There is nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to plan. The day can stay outside the door, waiting patiently. You are allowed to pause. Take a slow breath in, as though you're gathering calm from the air, and breathe out, letting it carry away whatever feels tight or loud inside you. Another breath in, gentle and easy, and out, a quiet release. With each exhale, imagine your thoughts becoming softer around the edges, like clouds thinning in a wide sky. Now in your mind's eye, a river appears, smooth as glass, dark as velvet, reflecting a scatter of starlight. You can almost hear it, not a rushing sound, but a low, steady whisper, the kind that tells you everything is moving exactly as it should. And as you relax into that whisper, the story begins. You find yourself at the riverbank at twilight, where the last light of day rests in the tops of tall grasses. The air is cool but kind. It smells of damp earth and wild mint, and something faintly sweet like distant blossoms closing for the night. Beneath your feet, the ground is soft, springy with moss. Nearby, a canoe waits, pulled up onto the shore as if it has been expecting you. You don't have to hurry. The canoe will not drift away. The river is patient. The sky above is deepening into a calm indigo, and the first stars are waking one by one like tiny lamps being lit by an unseen hand. You breathe again, and with that breath you feel a gentle invitation, a sense that the river knows the way to somewhere safe, somewhere quiet, somewhere that asks nothing of you except to float, to listen, to be. When you're ready, you step into the canoe. It rocks once tenderly, then steadies beneath you. The wood is smooth and warmed by the memory of sunlight. A paddle rests across the middle, and when your fingers curl around it, it feels perfectly fitted, neither too heavy nor too light, as though it has been waiting for your grip for a long time. With a small push, you glide away from the shore. The canoe slips into the river without a splash, like a secret being carried forward. The water accepts you, cradling the canoe in its dark, shining arms. Each paddle stroke is slow and easy, The river moves with you rather than against you, as if it's doing most of the traveling itself. A hush settles over everything. Not an empty hush, but a gentle one full of quiet sounds. The far call of a night bird, the whisper of reeds brushing each other, the soft lap of water against wood. Above, the moon rises, round and pale, casting a silver path across the river, a bright ribbon that seems to lead onward. You follow the ribbon. Your breath matches the rhythm of the paddle. In, and the canoe glides. Out, and the river carries you. In, and the night opens wider. Out, and your body sinks deeper into comfort. Soon, the bank on either side becomes a blur of dark greens and gentle shadows. Trees lean in slightly, their branches arching like a welcoming doorway. Leaves tremble softly, stirred by a breeze that feels like a cool hand smoothing your forehead. Somewhere in the distance, a frog begins to sing, joined by another and another, until the river seems to hum with a slow, soothing chorus. Ahead, a curve in the water turns the moon's silver path into a crescent. As you round it, something changes. The air grows softer, almost luminous. The scent of mint fades into something more delicate, like rain on warm stone, like petals crushed between fingers. The stars appear brighter here, and their reflections on the water look less like simple light and more like tiny floating seeds of possibility. You paddle once more, and the canoe glides into a stretch of river, so calm it feels like drifting through a dream. And then, gradually, you no longer need to imagine yourself there in the second person. The mind can relax further when it can simply watch, as though the story is unfolding on its own. So now the canoe carries a traveler named Mara. Mara is bundled in a soft cloak, the color of dusk. Her hair is loose, stirred by the night breeze, and her eyes are half lidded with calm. She does not look worried or hurried. She is not trying to reach anything quickly. She is simply following the river's gentle guidance, letting the water decide the pace. The canoe glides as if it has learned this path by heart. On the right bank, fireflies appear, floating in slow spirals. Their light is warm and golden, and as Mara passes, they drift closer, not startled, not afraid. They hover above the water like little lanterns, making a drifting constellation that mirrors the stars overhead. Mara watches them with a sleepy curiosity. Her shoulders lower, her hands soften around the paddle. Her breathing becomes deeper and slower, as though she has found the exact rhythm her body has been craving. The river narrows and the trees grow taller. Their trunks rise like pillars, and their branches knit together high above, forming a canopy. Through it, the moonlight filters down in pale beams, dappling the water in shifting patterns. The canoe moves through these patterns, and each time a patch of moonlight brushes the wood, it looks almost as if the canoe is being blessed, touched by quiet magic. Mara feels it too, not as a jolt or a spark, but as warmth spreading gently beneath her ribs. It is the feeling of being safe, of being guided, of being held by something larger than thought. The river's whisper grows clearer as if it has words, not words that need to be understood, but words that soothe. Go on, it seems to say. Not because you must, because you may. Mara paddles with an unhurried ease. The canoe responds like a living thing, leaning into each stroke, then gliding forward with a soft sigh. The water is so smooth that the reflections of trees and stars remain unbroken. It feels like traveling along a mirrored path between two skies. A mist begins to rise. It curls from the water in pale ribbons, drifting around the canoe. It does not hide the way. Instead, it makes everything feel softer, as though the world has been wrapped in a comforting veil. In the mist, faint shapes appear, rounded stones along the bank, bending reeds, the curve of a fallen log, and among those ordinary shapes, something quietly unusual, small glowing flowers growing at the water's edge, their petals shining a cool blue-white. Mara leans her gaze toward them. The flowers seem to nod as she passes, each one a tiny star rooted in earth. Their glow reflects on the canoe's side, a gentle shimmer that comes and goes like a slow pulse. The air tastes clean like water from a spring. Mara breathes it in and feels her thoughts loosen. The concerns she carried earlier, if she carried any at all, seem far away now, like footprints left on a shore that is no longer in sight. The river bends again and the trees begin to thin. The mist spreads wider as if the water itself is exhaling. The sky opens overhead, vast and velvety, filled with more stars than seems possible. The moon sits higher now, calm and watchful, painting everything in silver. Out on the water, a few lily pads drift by, large and dark, their edges outlined in moonlight. A white water lily blooms on one of them, open to the night. Its scent is faint but sweet, and as the canoe passes, the flower's reflection looks like a second blossom floating beneath the surface. Mara's eyes grow heavier. Her body remains steady, guided by the slow familiarity of paddling, but her mind becomes dreamy, gently unfocused. She is not fighting sleep. She is simply drifting toward it, the way the canoe drifts toward whatever lies ahead. In the distance, a sound arrives, soft, low, rhythmic. A bell, not loud, not sharp, just a tender tone like someone tapping a crystal with a fingertip. The bell rings once, then pauses, then rings again, each note spaced out like breaths. Mara lifts her head slightly, her attention gathering, not in effort but in gentle curiosity. She listens. The bell seems to come from the river itself, or from beyond the river, somewhere ahead, where the water disappears into mist and moonlight. As the canoe glides closer, the bell becomes clearer, and with it comes another sound. The faintest music, like wind moving through hollow reeds, like a lullaby remembered from childhood but never fully heard. The river widens again and the mist thins, revealing an open expanse of water. It looks like a lake, though the current still moves subtly beneath the surface. The moon's reflection stretches across it in a wide path, a shining road. And far out on that road there is a shape, dark against the silver. An island. At first it is only a low silhouette, but as Mara drifts onward, details appear. A crown of trees, a gentle slope, a small curve of pale sand along the edge. Above the island, the air seems to glow softly, as though the stars have gathered there. The bell rings again, and Mara knows, without needing to reason it through, that this is Dream Island. Not a place drawn on any map, not a destination that can be forced or chased. It is a place that appears when a traveler is ready for deep rest, when the mind has loosened its grip, when the body has begun to trust the night. The canoe continues on its own gentle line, as if it has been called. As Mara approaches, the water changes color. The dark river lake becomes a softer shade, like ink diluted with milk. The surface still reflects the sky, but the reflections seem warmer, as if the stars are smiling. The closer she gets, the more peaceful everything feels. Even the air seems to slow. The breeze becomes a soft, steady breath. The sounds of night soften into a hush so deep, it feels like stepping into a temple made of moonlight. Near the island's edge, the water grows shallower and Mara can see smooth stones beneath the surface, rounded and pale, arranged as if the lake has carefully placed them to make a gentle landing. The canoe glides between them without a bump. Then the bottom of the canoe kisses sand. Mara sets the paddle down, slow and careful, as though she doesn't want to disturb the quiet. She steps out into ankle-deep water. It is cool, but not cold. It feels like silk sliding over skin. She wades to shore, and the sand beneath her feet is fine and soft, still holding a little warmth, as if it remembers the sun. She pulls the canoe up just enough so it rests safely, then lets her hand linger on the wood. The canoe feels steady and reassuring, like a companion that has fulfilled its gentle task. The bell rings once more, very softly, and then fades, as if it has done what it needed to do. Mara looks up. The island is dimly lit, not by lamps or torches, but by the natural glow of things that belong to the night. Small flowers shine along the path, like the ones on the riverbank, but here they are more plentiful. Their light is delicate, never harsh. Fireflies drift between trees, slow and unhurried, like floating embers that refuse to burn. The trees themselves seem ancient and kind. Their trunks are thick, their bark textured like old stone, their branches spread wide and protective, their leaves whispering with the quietest motion. Somewhere deeper in the island, water trickles, perhaps a small stream, perhaps a hidden spring. Mara steps forward and the sand gives way to a path of soft moss. It cushions her feet, springy and cool. The air carries the scent of pine and night-blooming flowers, and something else too, something that feels like comfort, like clean sheets, like the moment right before sleep takes you. She follows the mossy path into the trees. With each step, the island seems to welcome her more fully. The air grows warmer by a small degree, like the island is offering a gentle embrace. The sounds of the outside world fade. There is only the soft whisper of leaves, the distant trickle of water, and the slow rhythm of Mara's own breathing. The path curves, leading between ferns that unfurl like green feathers. Their edges catch the glow of the flowers, creating soft outlines in the dark. The light is enough to see by, but it also invites the eyes to relax, to half close, to rest. Mara comes to a small clearing. In the center of it is a pond, perfectly still, reflecting the sky as if the sky has settled there to sleep. The pond's edge is ringed with smooth stones, and among them grow clusters of luminous flowers in shades of pale blue and soft white. Above the pond, a willow tree leans, its long branches hanging like curtains. The leaves sway gently, brushing the air. When they move, they create a sound like hush, 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 the universal language of comfort. Mara approaches the pond and kneels beside it. The surface reflects her face, softened by moonlight. She watches the reflection for a moment, not with judgment or thought, but with calm recognition, like greeting a quiet part of herself. A small ripple appears on the pond, though nothing seems to have touched it. The ripple spreads outward in slow circles, each one widening, each one fading gently into stillness. Mara watches, and as she watches, her own inner ripples seem to quiet. On the other side of the pond, something catches her eye. A small boat, no bigger than a child's toy, floating at the edge. It is made of folded leaves, shaped carefully, and it glows faintly from within. Inside the leaf boat rests a single pale feather. The feather looks impossibly light, as if a sigh could lift it. Mara does not feel the need to take it. She simply observes it, and in that observing she senses what it means. A feather is for letting go, for releasing weight, for remembering that rest is not earned through struggle, but received through softness. The willow's leaves whisper again, and Mara stands, letting her body unfold slowly. She continues along the path, which now leads away from the pond, deeper into the island. The trees here are spaced wider apart. Moonlight reaches the ground in broad pools, illuminating patches of soft grass. In one of those pools of light, a cluster of stones forms a circle, and at the center is a smooth, flat rock that looks like a seed. Mara steps into the circle and sits. The rock is cool at first, then gently warms beneath her. She rests her hands in her lap. The air around her feels thick with peace, as though the island is holding her in a quiet cocoon. In the stillness, she hears a new sound, very faint, a distant voice. Not a voice saying words, but a voice humming, a low melody like someone singing to a sleeping child. The sound is carried on the breeze, rising and falling, never urgent, never demanding attention. Mara closes her eyes. The humming seems to surround her, and with it comes a sensation of drifting, as though her mind is a small boat being rocked by gentle waves. Images float past the inside of her eyelids. The river's silver path, the fireflies, the glowing flowers, the canoe gliding through mist. The images do not need to be held onto. They arrive and pass like dreams beginning to gather. When Mara opens her eyes again, she sees something she hadn't noticed before. The stones of the circle are etched with faint patterns like lines drawn by water or wind. They resemble waves, spirals, and tiny stars, as if the island has been marking this place for countless travelers who came seeking rest. Mara reaches out and touches one of the stones. The pattern beneath her fingertips feels smooth, worn down by time and tenderness. The stone does not feel cold or lifeless. It feels steady, patient. A breeze moves through the circle, and a few leaves drift down from above, spinning slowly. They land without sound on the grass. Mara leans back slightly, letting her shoulders rest. Her breathing deepens. The humming fades. Not because it stops, but because it becomes part of everything, part of the air, part of the quiet, part of her own slow heartbeat. After a while, she rises and continues walking. The path becomes softer still, lined with thick moss that glows faintly at the edges, like a hidden light beneath velvet. The trees thin once more, and ahead, the land slopes gently upward, as though the island is guiding her toward a final, peaceful place. At the top of the slope, the trees open into a wide meadow. The meadow is bathed in moonlight, silver and calm. The grass is long and sways like water. Tiny luminous specks float just above it, drifting lazily. Seeds of light, perhaps, or fireflies, moving slowly in a dreamlike dance. At the center of the meadow lies something that looks like a nest, large enough for a person. It is woven from soft reeds and downy grasses, arranged carefully as though made by gentle hands. Inside, it is a layer of pale, silky material. Maybe feathers, maybe petals, maybe the very softness of the night given form. Mara stands at the edge of the nest and feels a wave of relief so deep it almost makes her smile. She understands what this is. A resting place. Not a bed that belongs to a house, not a shelter built of walls, but a simple cradle offered by the island itself. A place where the body can loosen completely, where the mind can float free. Mara steps into the nest and lowers herself down. The woven reeds support her like a hammock, firm enough to hold her, soft enough to comfort. The downy layer shifts beneath her, molding to her shape. She exhales, long and slow, and it feels like releasing a burden she didn't know she was carrying. Above her, the sky is vast. The stars are scattered like salt across dark velvet. The moon watches, serene and steady. The meadow's grass whispers as the breeze moves through, and the sound is like a lullaby, without words. Mara pulls her cloak around her, though she hardly needs it. The air here is perfectly balanced, not too cool, not too warm. It is the temperature of safety. She lies still, and as she does, The island seems to respond. The luminous specks floating above the grass drift closer, gathering around the nest like a slow, gentle halo. Their light is faint, but it makes everything feel softer, dreamier. It is as if the island is dimming the world, inviting sleep. Mara's eyelids grow heavy, her thoughts slow. They become less like sentences and more like soft impressions. The feel of water, the shimmer of moonlight, the hush of leaves, the comfort of the nest. In the distance, the bell rings again, so quiet it is almost imagined. A single note, tender and round like a drop of light falling into still water. The note fades, and Mara drifts. Dreams begin to gather around her, not sharp or intense, but gentle and wandering. She sees herself in the canoe again, but now the canoe glides across the sky instead of water, sailing through clouds that look like pale islands. She sees fireflies spelling nothing in particular, only drifting in slow spirals. She sees the pond reflecting not the moon but a warm sunrise, and she feels, even in dream, the promise that rest carries renewal. The meadow's grass continues its soft whisper. The stars continue their quiet shining, and Mara's breathing becomes the slowest, calmest rhythm, like waves reaching a shore and withdrawing again. Time on Dream Island does not behave like time anywhere else. It does not count. It does not hurry. It simply flows, smooth and quiet. Mara's body sinks deeper into the nest. Her face relaxes, her hands loosen, palms open, the muscles in her legs soften, the tension dissolving like mist. The island holds her, steady and kind. Far below the meadow, the canoe rests at the shore, safe and still. The river lake reflects the moon in a wide silver path, as though it is keeping the way open should it ever be needed again. But there is no need now, not tonight. Tonight is for sleeping. The wind moves through the trees at the edge of the meadow, and the leaves hush, 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 like they are telling the world to be quiet, to be gentle, to let the traveler rest. Mara's dreams become slower, softer. They drift like feathers, and gradually even the dreams begin to fade into a deeper quiet, a peaceful dark that is not empty but full of comfort. The meadow blurs at the edges. The stars soften into a gentle glow. The world becomes a warm, steady hush. Now the story itself begins to slow, to settle, to quiet its own voice, the way a candle's flame steadies right before it dims. Mara sleeps, held in the nest of reeds and softness. Her breath is slow, her heartbeat is calm. The island's gentle lights drift farther away, dimming like fireflies, moving into the distance. The bell does not ring anymore. It has done its work. The river is still. The trees are quiet. The meadow is a cradle of moonlight. And in this calm, everything becomes simpler, softer, easier. The last thoughts loosen and slip away. The last tension melts. Only rest remains. only the slow rhythm of breathing, only the comfort of being held by night. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.